Previously on Elysia Rising.
We wish you to venture into what remains of Castle Antolyr in the Ivory.
What's the end goal here? Is she looking for a restoration of the House Antolyr at the top?
As you notice the ghosts approaching, you have to resort to sort of like fending them off with your spirit bane, waving the Bloodseeker blade. And you can see that the spirits are beginning to move down the corridor like an undulating wall of faces. And the wailing of the spirits gets louder and louder and louder. The four of you tumble through into what appears to be a large dining hall, and stood between the two tables, a dark-skinned Lorivar man, a young-looking goblin, and a second Lorivar woman, looking at you very perplexed because they've just seen the four of you tumble through this door, like seemingly through the veil. The Lorivar man at the front of this trio stares at you and says, "Atta? Is that you?" And you recognise your old gang member, Alejandro.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an ace of our spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisper.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
Yes, you're in this large 50-foot by 50-foot room, floor-to-ceiling pillars, all sides covered in books, floating platforms, ominous rumbling. What do you do?
Is there like a librarian desk, like, with the key for the what's it called, the Dewey Decimal?
Atta, as you peer over the banister to the ground, like the basement floor, fundamentally, you notice a dodecahedral shape on a plinth with gold bandings along all of its edges, and like your eyes open as you realise that is an arcane tome.
Ooh.
It can be activated.
Sorry, what?
It's the shape of a D20.
Yeah,
with gold banding along all the edges, and it's sat on a plinth on the ground floor, quote unquote, basement floor.
It's like a catalogue.
You know it to be effectively an arcane catalogue.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Alejandro, Grubbin, and Lucine, they look around and they immediately branch off and begin their investigatings. As they're walking along, there's more kind of crashing and banging from above you, and they kind of look to each other and then decide to head to the ground, the basement floor, via the staircase. They begin looking around. On some of these bookshelves, there's more than just books. There are, you see sort of arcane artifacts, astrolabes. There's all sorts of kind of weird and wonderful curiosities from the before times, just kind of scattered around. This looks like what you would imagine the library of House Antolyr to look like, with all the kind of odd curiosities that come with it. How are you beginning your search for this fort?
We probably want to check out that arcane Dewey Decimal System, don't we?
Yeah.
See if there's any clues whatsoever to the geography of this place. Like, although I assume if there is a vault close to here, they probably try to keep it fairly secret.
So,
Is it going to be a case of pulling out the correct book and then a secret stairway opens or something?
So actually, I should point out that if you glance at the divining orb, it is now kind of more pointing, like you're on the ground floor, like the middle of the 3 floors. It's sort of pointing down.
Okay.
So I think we go down first.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at this catalogue. Did so Alejandro went down. I approach Alejandro and ask about what the book might be to try and like see whether this catalogue might know where it is.
So as you approach him, like you see the 3 of them sort of like talking to one another, like discreetly, and like Lucine kind of alerts the other 2 to your approach. And as you ask Alejandro about the tome, he looks to you and, oh yeah, the book. Yeah, it's and you see he begins to sort of like start looking around the library. There wasn't like a specific name or anything. It was you know, we're just gonna have a little browse and then see if we can find what it is that the our host wants.
Suspicious.
Very, very dodgy.
Okie dokie. Atta's still gonna have a look at the catalogue and try and maybe if Magpie's around, if there is anything that maybe Algernon, like if there's books on foresight, that might help. Or if there's any, you said there's artifacts around, we need to get some foresight stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
what would be useful things to get as we consider where vault could be?
Well, so I will just kind of hold you there for a moment, and then we'll flash back to remind that Nephene did give you the pass key to get in, but the thing that she didn't know is like where you would need to use it.
Yeah.
So Algernon, now that you know that the 4 of them are kind of combing over the library, she told you that the pass key were the words that House Antolyr lived by. So it was a seemingly a semi-cryptic kind of clue. The words that House Antolyr lived by, in a Khan's eyes. So as you're mulling on that, Atta, you approach this kind of crystalline, like D20 type shape, and as you approach it, it begins to softly glow, and effectively, like you've probably tinkered with these in the past, but you know you can sort of like turn and twist and kind of manipulate it to, like as the triangular sides face up, they flash up like a pane of information. You can sort of like move around, and effectively it's a very kind of Tony Stark in a fantasy world type thing. But yeah, it's going through cataloguing the various books by name, books by category, books by level. It's also got sort of like public journal entries and news that House Antolyr would have collected over the years. Yeah, if there's a part of you that kind of looks at it, and it's a very powerful item, and it just seems a bit odd that it's relegated to a catalogue.
Can I look up? I don't remember what I can't quite remember what name she gave us now, but can I look up the Lady in Purple's name that she gave us? What was it?
Tarot.
Tarot.
Tarot, yeah, because I remember it was a root.
There is a book on the upper floor entitled The Lady in Purple.
Ooh. We
And
definitely need to
it's
read
not a
that
book per se, sorry, it's like it's a journal entry. So
Ooh.
someone's kind of personalized journals.
Oh my gosh, is it in a Mean Girl style burn book? And there's just a picture of her with her eyes crossed out and like, this fugly bitch.
Okay, we have to
Yeah,
get
it's
that book.
certainly of interest that there is documentation on the Lady in Purple in this library.
Definitely need to read that.
Well, I'm thinking, Magpie, you're quite prowly, aren't you?
Sure. I'm a bit prowly. I like to try
You,
to
yeah.
prowl. Yeah, sure.
little
What are you
bit.
thinking?
Well, I think if anybody's going to make it to the top floor,
I mean,
Then
any
it
one
might-
of us could just walk up to the top floor, right? Is
Well,
it?
bear
Or
in
is
mind-
it actually
Assembling.
having to...
So the
Get up
bookshelves, the book pillars, are away from the balcony, so you'd
Yeah.
have to jump on one of the like levitational pads and float
Almost
on up.
feels a bit finessey or something, doesn't it? Rather than prowling is more for sneaking, not being noticed. Oh, Daisy.
It's very much a case if one of you wants to go fetch the book from the location, like head to that location, you can.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
These things aren't death traps. They were used by
no.
dithery
I mean,
old nobles.
I thought maybe since I have the other earring and I'm talking directly to Algernon, and also given I am a noble Asavar myself, I thought I could probably help Algernon work out the passcode or look for clues around the library as to what are the words House Antolyr lives by.
Sure. Well, have the two of you just, while we're thinking about it, have the two of you got an idea of what that might mean? Because Nephene gave you a very kind of pointed look when she said that, as if like, oh, this would be obvious.
Well, I mean, what would we know as Asavar who may have had links with House Antolyr?
I suppose, given that as a noble and Algernon, as you've got links to, there was a motto for House Antolyr, like a family motto.
Do we know what it was?
Yes, the motto was, especially as the two of you are who you are, through your gifts and guidance, may we raise to the heavens. That was their family motto.
Right. Raise to the heavens. Okay.
Well, would it be something to do with Arcana? Because that was the gift that...
Yeah.
So, well, if you're asking that, Cavern, yeah, Magpie, you remember back to Nephene saying the words that House Antolyr lived by, in the eyes of a Khan.
There are any statues with eyes in here?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, are there any depictions of a Khan in this library? Or in the house so far?
You notice that on the wall that doesn't have balconies running across it, there is a mural of, like a mosaic mural of this large kind of winding broad-winged dragon that you instinctively know is a Khan.
And has he got eyes?
It does.
Okay.
The figure of a Khan is presented like broad-shouldered, palms up, like gazing as if he's gazing down upon the library. And as you approach, you notice that there are 19 other serpents depicted on the mural. Like you can see Iya with her kind of radiant halo, beside a Khan, but certainly kind of much smaller in stature, as she seemingly is either not the main focus of the mosaic, or this is a very pointed thing that they don't Iya wasn't considered as important. But you notice that one of the children of a Khan is kind of spiraling around his form, and that figure, who it'd probably be a Cavern jobby to figure out who that is.
Yeah.
Is Hydrea, the Lawkeeper. She, the dragon. So she is the dragon who looks after, like, arcane knowledge and the like.
Right.
Who was that again? Sorry.
Hydrea. Hydrea is kind of coiled around her father, as the Khan looks down upon this library, seemingly with, like, approval.
Right.
Who are your gifts and guidance? So, could it be that we're looking for books about that mention Hydrea, or am I thinking about it a bit too literally there?
I was thinking about where Akan's looking, like where are the eyes looking.
That was the other thing as well. Yeah, I agree.
And aside, as people are figuring out the puzzle, could Atta be looking up golem control, crystal golem control in the library catalogue and books and
Yeah. There's a tome on the middle sections. If you want to levitate up to those.
Does anyone want to go grab that journal entry on the Purple Lady, by the way?
I mean, I do. I'm happy to go. Well, I'd probably hand over the pearl, the big magic orb, to either Cav or Frida, and then head up.
If I've got 2 in prowl, so I can probably prowl up there to get the Purple Lady stuff.
Effectively, it's just jumping on the.
Yeah, I don't think we need to
magical
prowl.
elevator.
Yeah, but we don't want Buggerlugs to see us. So
They'll see us.
Should we split the difference? One of us go to the top and one of us go to the middle.
I've actually got something else that I'd like to do.
I can go get both. I'm going to go get both. I'll go to the top first, and then I'll go to the mid.
Okay.
Sure. Well, as you grab the book on golem control, you also then float up to fetch the journal on the Purple Lady, and it's effectively like a diary scroll of a sorts. Like a lot of the documentation up here just seem to be kind of rolled up scrolls, like put in a rough kind of order. Seemingly people just kind of writing notes, and then rolling them up and popping them in. While you're up there, Atta, you notice that the ominous rumbling is getting louder.
Oh dear.
Has Algernon had any ideas about this cryptic clue?
Well, he's thinking about it as if it were a cryptic clue from the crossword.
Yes.
Not getting very far. He's thinking about the eyes of Arkan could be the letter I.
Well, so I'll quickly interject and say that something you would have picked up on is that Nefene distinctly said the passphrase is the words that they live by in the eyes of Akan. So, I mean, you in this moment you know that the motto of House Antolyr is through your gifts and guidance may we rise to the heavens, but it's that last bit that's the eyes of as in the eyes of Akan that is odd.
Yeah.
If we're being pointed towards Hydrea is known for arcane and knowledge.
I mean, libraries are full of knowledge, so
it's
all over the place.
Knowledge, because that was the gift that Akan gave, was arcane knowledge, basically.
Yeah.
If anything, Cavern, perhaps there's a bit of it's a bit odd. Hydrea is one of the ones that fought against the Khan, like fought under her mother. Iya.
Are children considered gifts? Maybe Hydrea is the gift and guidance. Are we overthinking this? We're probably overthinking this.
Yeah,
Should we just
probably.
input it into the computer? Eyes of a Khan. Just beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. Or maybe we literally have to
What
do
is
something with the
Kavrin
mural.
doing? What is Kavrin doing?
To be fair, Kavrin is actually like he's seeing people sort of think these over and he's looking over. He is looking. So he saw sort of like something not. He felt like he just got a twinge that something wasn't quite right with the conversation that Atta had with Alejandro.
Mm-hmm.
That are they really looking for something?
Mm-hmm.
I would like just to distract him. So if something big is found, then he's too distracted to possibly do something else. So I would like to go over and have a bit of a flirt if I can.
Okay.
Oh, sure. It's just because you're suspicious of him,
I
Purely
Catherine.
totally
Yeah.
am.
Purely professional. You're purely just doing us a favour.
I am.
Okay. Well, I won't ask her off for that if you're just heading over and like having a flirt, having a chatter, just kind of distracting.
Yeah, whether or not he's intrigued by it or annoyed by it, it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to distract him.
Curious to begin with, for sure. He's like, yeah, it seems to be engaging in conversation with you. Absolutely. What's Frida doing? Like, is Frida helping with this puzzle?
Puzzles aren't really Frida's jam, but I think Frida would be keeping a close eye on Catherine. I think Frida would have clocked what Catherine's about to do, and so Frida's on standby in case there's in case the flirting needs to turn to intimidation.
Sure.
But also, I think, and this might be more for flavour than anything, Frida's actually surreptitiously and slightly self-consciously also scanning the bookshelves to see if she can find anything about Wolfkin lore and history.
Yeah. Well, Atta's got the arcane catalogue, so she could certainly look for it. If you're sort of having a look around and you're not sort of like really engaging in anyone, I mean, how does this whole sort of like gods and cryptic messages, like, how does that ring with you? Like, is it something that you sort of like tut and roll your eyes at, or?
A little bit. I think
Yeah.
Frida's not had particularly pleasant experiences with the church and has therefore not had much to do with religion as a whole.
Might I suggest that one of the difficulties that you had, especially, growing up under the very zealous thumb of Caleb, was that a lot of the time it was really, really difficult to understand what he was even talking about, because he would always recite the verses in Draconic, like the language of the heavens.
Yeah, do you think
It's
Frida would have recalled?
It's like you or I listening to someone recite in Latin. Like, but you remember religious texts were always recited in Draconic.
Would Frida have recalled any of the passages, even if it's like not even knowing what they mean? A little bit like how everyone can remember a hymn from primary school just because they are drilled into your head so bloody much. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. You're not entirely sure that sort of like easily recitable Draconic hymns would help you here. If only you knew how to speak Draconic.
I tell you who does know how to speak the House Antolyr motto in Draconic.
Yeah?
Yeah, and he's flirting with a twink right now.
He's using his... No, I won't go there.
I think we need to get Catherine's attention, if you've made that link in your head.
No, I tell you what. Go back to Cavern and his flirting for a minute.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Cavern, you as you drop another compliment, what is it about Alejandro that you're complimenting?
I'm complimenting him on his speed, the speed of looking through the books. I'm just kind of asking him sort of what he does in his downtime when he's not in big spooky castles. Where does he usually?
Well,
don't think I've seen him around.
We keep ourselves busy. I suspect, like you, just trying to get as much done with as little notice as possible. We've recently acquired a new benefactor. I suppose that's the best word for it. She keeps us extremely busy. Just jobs here and there around the city. This is why we're here, actually.
Oh, you say she? Anyone particularly well known? Or
She's quite a secretive person, actually. I don't know if I'd be very, very surprised if you knew her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know quite a lot of people. I mean, obviously, I don't know you. We can maybe change that, but
he blushes and he steps away from Lucine and Grubbin, and well, I should just in case there's any confusion. She's not. It's not like that in any way. No. I would argue she's not really my type. She's a bit too old for me. She. I'd be very, very surprised if you know her. I'm not actually sure of, her first name. We only know her as Lady Null.
We know that name.
The Oneshi leader.
Is it now? Upon hearing that name, Catherine's going to go, oh, yes. Maybe we do keep the same company then.
Oh, you know of Lady Null?
Yes, we do happen to frequent the Gold Pot. She allows us to use that area for us to make dealings and such.
Well, you have to excuse me. I probably said too much. Lady Null, in which case you know that she's a very private person. She probably doesn't want me discussing her business too much. But yeah, she is keeping us on our toes, certainly. Do you know how Atta's getting on with finding the whatever she's looking for?
Right, and at this point, Frida jumps in before Catherine can go blab in his mouth and go, "Hi, Catherine, I've just had a thought. I've been looking around this and I've been thinking about all this religion bollocks, and I don't really go in for that sort of thing. But now I've got these words stuck in my head, something that old bloody Caleb used to knock on about, and he used to talk in Draconic a lot, and I was just wondering, what do you think this saying that they're on about to open this to unlock this puzzle? What do you think it would be in Draconic?
Frida, you notice that with you talking to Catherine quite friendly, he sort of looks at you quite coldly. And then he'll turn back to Alejandro and say, like, maybe we can discuss who else we have in common with at another time. Do come by the Gold Pot. I'll make sure to get you in a nice seat there. And then he's going to wander off, and he's listened to what Frida's said, and looking, sort of like thinking of the words that Nephele has said to us, and looking at the big portrait. Would he? So it's one word.
It's so they've been saying there's a phrase, it's a past phrase. Through your gifts and guidance, may we rise to the heavens. Does Cavern speak Draconic?
That's the question. Does Cavern speak Draconic?
I think he would.
I guess, yeah. I guess Dorothea would have taught him some Draconic, even if it was mostly. Yes, that is a sentence.
Cavern, as the words form in your head, please read them out, clear as you can.
This is a wonderful phrase that you've given to someone with dyslexia. This is actually what most of my sentences look like when I read them. So, Erikes dot Rega Pris Kag Soravne Nomagyef Laga Ekes Re Gurawi.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
As you utter the words, and like Frida, you like as Cavern speaks in Draconic, you notice that like his voice suddenly sounds more sort of like reverby, resonant, deep, almost as if the words coming out of his mouth, like it's as if he suits this language better than the common language that you all speak. And as you finish the phrase, at a jour, coming back down on your levy pad, you notice the eyes on the mosaic begin shining bright red. And the dais, the little plinth, like the platform that you picked up the crystal that you're holding on the catalogue on, that shakes, rotates slightly, and starts spiraling downwards into the ground, revealing a spiral staircase into a basement vault.
Let's go.
Alejandro,
books down there, are there? They're not going to be books down there, so why did he want to come down there?
Alejandro and crew like look at you and did you do that? He says as he looks at you all, kind of begin to congregate, and then what are you heading down? Are you who's going down?
I think I'm gonna go down.
Yeah, Frida will go down.
Cavern will go down, feeling quite
there's
impressed with himself.
There's ominous rumbling up here, and I don't.
It's not a good idea to stay.
Yeah, let's go.
Might be best if we keep an eye on them. Like, if they're probably going to insist on coming, aren't they?
Oh, don't worry, Cavern's keeping an eye.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so Cavern, if you're staying up, are the other three of you going down? So you head down into this vault, and it's who's providing the light as it's pitch black down here.
Oh, blimey.
Has Atta still got a little wormy light?
I can add something else to my loadout from my little.
I haven't done anything, so I'm happy to have a lantern.
I don't think I've got anything anything that weighs anything in my loadout. So.
I also should add some books to my loadout anyway, so a little bit, right?
Sure. Well, whoever's providing the lantern light, you look around this. Rather, like the room itself is the same dimensions as the library overhead, but in lieu, like the ceiling is quite low, and in lieu of sort of like pillars, there are a number of shelves. You notice that quite a few of the shelves seem to have been are empty. You assume that perhaps a lot of the artifacts are sort of like grabbed up during the Antolyr Exodus when they were kind of booted out the city. But as you peer around Atta, you notice that there are like runic inscriptions on the wall, like wards of. You were looking at it; they look like runes of abjuration, so perhaps to prevent scrying or kind of divination on this area. And it doesn't take you all that long to find this large kind of crystalline cube that matches the description, Magpie, you realise, of the artefact that Nephene wanted you to retrieve. As I say, it's about 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. It's currently, so the cube itself looks like it's made out of a glass-like material, and there's a soft kind of fuchsia glow emanating from the center of it. There's heavy iron bandings around the edges, and on the corners there seem to be sort of like, again, more kind of runic inscriptions on them, seemingly to protect this artifact. Between Atta and Frida, you also, because you've been tasked by Algernon to look for it, you find, like, on the floor behind a crate, seemingly kind of accidentally knocked down, you see the you notice the telltale shape and design of the crown of House Antolyr.
Ooh.
A kind of silver and gold circlet with a number of like rubies and other precious materials across the front of it. It looks a bit dinged, presumably from where it tumbled, but it's just kind of rolled into a corner, slightly out of sight. So perhaps in a panic, it was knocked down and lost. But yeah, you found the crown of Antolyr.
Excellent. Mission accomplished. Done.
Yeah.
Go home.
So who's taking the large cube?
Good question. Would Frida be happy to hold large cube, or should one of us do that? So leave your fists free for swinging.
How large is the cube again? Like, is
About
it?
2
Would
foot
it?
by 2 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah,
Okay, so it would really take 2 hands, wouldn't it?
2 hands for sure.
Atta's also happy to carry. I do have like a heavy, like I'm more of a carrier than a fighter as well.
You're
I'm not going to be doing much
on this one.
for sure. You can load Atta up.
I mean, I don't have any loadout at the moment, but my loadout is light. I don't know if I'd be able
Mine's
to carry
light
it.
as well, but
So it is large and heavy enough that it will count as 2. So Atta, if you're happy to carry it.
Is there any foresight? Sorry. Is there any? Is there any foresight liquid down here? Forgot that we were recording for a second.
There does not appear to be, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
no, it's a shame.
I'm sorry.
Frida can carry it, being, it's quite a big cube, and it's basically here for the heavy lifting. So Frida will carry it, but definitely gonna have to drop it in a hurry just in case we need to punch anything.
I would if you want to carry it, totally fine. I would much rather you have your hands free for fighting, honestly, because I feel like Alejandro might get spicy.
We don't want you to drop it and potentially damage it because you're in a hurry to respond to an emergency.
All right then, Atta, you go ahead.
Okay.
I
In which case, is there anything else that you're grabbing while you're down here, or
is there anything that looks good?
You can grab. So this would be similar to the hollow job that you did in Rookridge.
Yeah.
For every load of stuff that you take, that will count as like coin, basically.
I'll take 1 load of goodies.
Okay. So 1 loot.
1 loot.
I will also take 1 loot.
Okay.
Yeah, I shall take a loot.
Okay.
Maybe add just a.
I've marked it down, but yeah, just remember you take 1 each. Atta, are you taking any additional loot?
Is somebody got the crown in their inventory? Who picked that up? Did anyone pick it up?
The crown we've got. Sure. Does that count as a whole load?
In this case, yes. So the crown is an extra.
Blimey.
somebody else want to take the crown just in case?
I'll take the crown.
Okay, so I'll take a load of loot.
I've got a load of loot. Loot is one load.
Loot is one
And
one.
Yep, one loot for me, one loot for Frida, one crown for Cavern.
And is Cameron taking another loot as well?
Can I? I'm on light loadout.
Oh, okay.
So how many is light? Like 3 or 2?
It is.
Well, heavy is only 6.
3 is still light, so I believe it's 3.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
So can I take some loot as well
Yeah.
along with the crown? Cool. Take some loot.
Cool. Okay. So you've got 3 loot between you. So as you're heading up, Magpie, are you relaying back to Algernon?
Yep. I tell him we've got the item, we've got the crown, and a few bits and bobs, and we're gonna get out of here.
In which case, Algernon, as part of the extensive planning that happened before this run, was there a particular exfiltration route? And was it back through the Vale?
No.
No, I think the plan is to come out via the front of the property. And one of the things that Algie has been keeping an eye on with his telescope is the presence of the Children of Iya within the Ivory.
Sure. In which case, as you've been watching, there is. You've noticed over the space of the, there is basically a bit of a camp, like a small outpost of Children of Iya, about 50 meters from Castle Antolyr, and at any given point, there's only ever sort of like 1 or 2, maybe 3, clerics there, just enough to ward off passers-by, and you would assume that based on the somehow these 3, Alejandro and these other 2, have kind of gotten past these Children of Iya. But as you hear Magpie tell you that they've got everything, you spy a 4th child of Iya approaching the camp. And it's a rather large, yellow-scaled, dragon-scent woman.
No!
Oh, no.
No! Go away, Dorothea.
So yeah, is there anything you're doing to help with the exfiltration?
Cool. I would like to flash back
Yes.
to a meeting with High Priestess Isoth at the cathedral.
Oh, okay. Swinging for that home run, I see.
She told me to my face that anyone is welcome at the cathedral, so I'm going
True.
to accept her invitation.
Wow.
This is very, very true. Okay. She, as you enter, so in which case, the meeting I suspect would be by the altar at the heart of the Cathedral of Our Glorious Mother in Abbotsgate.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have noticed the looks that you were getting as you strode up the main aisle to the altar. Mm-hmm. And the small but kind of prominent goblin woman turns to look to you as you approach. And as you do, she turns to face you straight on, planting the staff with the glowing kind of edifice at its head down in a very sturdy kind of manner.
Hello, child. It's a surprise to see you.
High Priestess, I was told anyone is welcome here at the cathedral. I do hope it was meant sincerely, although I noticed I've been getting a few odd glances.
I assure you that our clerics are simply surprised by your presence, and that all are welcome in the warm embrace of our mother. How can I help you, Algernon, was it?
That's right. I come here sincerely because I want help with my affliction. I was wondering if you really believed that I am to blame for the sins of my ancestors, and if there's anything that could be done.
The path of atonement and redemption is a long and winding one indeed, Mr. Cadwallader. Something that I am sure that you and the rest of your family are well aware of.
I worry that it's left me vulnerable, left my soul vulnerable to devilish influence. There's a particular devil who has been trying to reach me.
Lukaji tilts her head and raises an eyebrow. Go on.
She told me her name was Taro.
You watch the High Priestess stiffen.
What makes you think that she is of a fiendish disposition?
I'm not sure, but I do know one thing for certain, and that you have also met her, and you didn't like what she had to say.
You watch the goblin clench down on her back teeth, and you see the shifts of weight on the two clerics that are flanking her, as they kind of awkwardly shuffle from foot to foot, one slowly kind of glancing down at the High Priestess, and whilst she's still looking at you very intently, she isn't targeting this at you when she says, "Leave us." And the two clerics kind of slowly shuffle away.
You are correct to assume that I did not find solace in the words of that trickster had for me. I'm curious as to how you have also heard her duplicitous honeyed words.
She was very keen for me and my comrades to spread that honey. I'm not entirely sure of her alignment, but I'd be curious to know what your more zealous followers would think of your encounter with her. Either you've been consorting with a fiend, or you've willfully ignored the advice of a celestial being. I wonder which rumor they'd find juicier.
I could imagine that her words would be considered as a warning to some, as a threat. But I assure you, Mr. Cadwallader, that I see her words as nothing more than a deadline. The existence of the veil in itself is an affront against Iya. If you are here to help us achieve our goals before the veil is to disperse, we would greatly appreciate your help.
I'm here because I want your children to get off my lawn.
Oh my god.
Scale back your activities in the Ivory and stay away from Cadwallader Manor.
She muses on this for a moment. Roll me a... I think it's going to happen. Are you telling her or asking her?
I'm sort of threatening... It's sway, basically. I'm sort of threatening to...
Well, I'm thinking whether it's sway or command. I'm wondering.
Oh, it might be command. It's in terms of die.
Yeah, it's the same. So I guess if you're asking her to vacate your lawn, it will be a sway. If you're instructing her to leave your lawn, it will be command.
Let's go for command. I haven't done one of those before.
Okay. Are you okay? So she is the leader of the Children of Iya.
Oh,
So
God.
she is, for all intents and purposes, she is tier 4.
Oh, blimey.
So we're going to start this clock. Well, we're going to start this as she's 3 tiers higher than you as a risky no effect.
God.
So you've got push, you've got devil's bargains, you've got your Asavar superpower.
Yeah, infallible, but I can't use that if the effect's 0.
Well, if you
But I could
If you
push
changed
up
it
to something
to
else.
lesser and then
yeah,
push
yeah.
it with infallible. Yeah.
so
If this has happened in the past, can Frida be part of this flashback to help out as kind of like an intimidating presence?
by all means,
I will take stress towards this ballsy move.
okay.
Gladly. This is a grade A power move, and I'm all for it.
I will ask for 1 stress on Frida's clock for this
Grand.
retroactive help.
Hashtag
Okay.
worth it.
Devil's bargain.
I have an idea.
Okay, go on.
So, in the present day, they can come to Codwalada Manor and try and arrest me, as long as they stay away from Castle Antolyr.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll twist it ever so slightly. They won't arrest you. They will expect you to work for them. You become an agent of the faith, and they will give you tasks that are particularly suited to your skill set.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Devil's Bargain. If you want to push, that's an additional one.
I do.
You've got help from Frida. And you've got Infallible if you want to use it.
Sure.
So we're starting on Risky No effect. So one of those gets you to Risky Lesser. How do you want to spend your other upgrades?
I will use Infallible to put it up to standard.
Risky Standard, okay, yep.
I'm going to push myself for a dice.
Okay, yeah.
The Devil's Bargain.
For another
I think
dice.
I'm going to go for another dice, yeah.
Okay. So 2 additional dice, 2 additional effects. So that will leave you on a 3 dice Risky Standard. And
There we go.
Frida is also...
Or could I also trade position for effect and go for Desperate?
You absolutely can. Okay, so Algie, command. Okay.
Oh my god.
3 dice. Risky Greater. And Frida is also involved in the consequences.
Would it not be Desperate Greater?
So what did I say?
Risky Standard.
Sorry,
You said-
Desperate
it's okay,
Greater.
it's okay.
Desperate
Yeah,
Greater.
yeah.
Okay.
Roll and bones.
No, come on.
You can resist.
Resist! Please resist.
Okay. It's the worst outcome.
Karma resist.
Well, we don't know what we're resisting yet.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm jinxed. I'm so sorry,
Oh.
JC.
You know what? It can't be helped.
It's bloody what's his face, bargain bin Darth Vader all over again, isn't it?
Okay, I've got it. Lucragi closes her eyes and looks down at the ground, and then opens them to look at you directly, and there is a ferocity in her gaze.
The Children of Iya unfortunately have to decline your offer in this instance, Mr. Cadwallader. But your offer of help and charity to our cause is still greatly appreciated. And we will be in contact with details on how you may help us deliver Aya's divine message to the people. Good day,
she says. Huh?
Do you want? Is that what you wanted to resist, JC? That particular consequence.
And as a result of this, that's the devil's bargain. As you're looking through the telescope, the large yellow-scaled dragon scent is at the head of a war band heading
Please
to
resist.
Castle Antolyr.
Please resist.
Okay. I resist.
Resist the warband, please. So you get 4 dice for this, don't you? If it's a resolve, resist.
This is a resolve, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. 1 stress. That's
One
all
stress.
right.
So, I will reduce... it is we are back to... it's like Dorothea and a couple of clerics, so it's not a war party. It is now... it's now a small group of them. I'm only going to tick up Dorothea arrives by 1 segment.
Cool. So to resist it, we flash back to the cathedral, and I lose my composure a little bit, and I say, what about alchemical fire? I suppose you think these walls are resistant to it.
She sort of like, she's turns to leave after what she assumed was a slam dunk. And then she stops and turns back. And she looks, and you notice, like, she looks at you, and there is a flicker of kind of doubt and concern in her eyes. Everyone saw what happened to the Ruby Keep. And, like, glancing around, you realise that the Cathedral of our Glorious Mother was pretty much built around about the same time, using the same materials, probably even the same architect. And there is a momentary flicker of kind of doubt in her eyes. And she doesn't say anything. She just nods, as if acknowledging what you're saying. And then...
Quite. Will I hear the Kindling at least give their followers a choice?
Lukragi stops, and that is the problem, Mr. Cadwallader. Choice breeds chaos. She seems rattled that you would threaten the faith, like in this kind of circumstance, and like with your words in her mind, she nods again and once again repeats, "Mr. Cadwallader, Frida," she says, and then turns to leave. So it seems like it was a bit of a gambit then. You weren't sure how that was going to pan out at the time, but it would seem that she has not thrown her full weight into harassing you and your crew in the present. But it would seem, from what you remember of this Dorothea character, perhaps she wasn't so easily curtailed by Lukragi. Yes, Dorothea is storming towards Castle Antolyr.
Throw a rock at her. Get out of the window. Just throw a rock.
So yeah, you see her sort of like striding up the street towards the castle at the edge of the vale, and you see her sort of like stop at one of the let's stop at the outpost that's kind of near to it, and you see a sort of like barking orders and kind of shouting. You see the clerics looking at one another, a bit confused, and then you see a sort of like frantically pointing at the castle. And the five of them total begin sort of like moving towards the front gate.
Cool. I message Magpie.
Okay.
Heads up, Magpie. You're getting company through the front. It's our second favourite dragon scent.
Oh God! And I tell the others that Dorothy is here at the front.
Okay.
How are we getting out of here?
Are you still going out the front?
There was another entrance.
I don't love that idea. I think.
Well, here's an idea. There's a big old crystal golem stomping around.
Are you saying we lure it
And
to
if we
the
could-
main entrance?
And if we could like
Unleash it on
introduce,
Dorothea.
if we could just like, introduce Dorothea to the crystal golem, or the crystal golem to Dorothea, it might solve our little issue for us.
What does the golem book say about controlling the golem? Sorry.
How do you set it at somebody?
So the book does say that golems take command from the creator.
They're not here.
But like they will continue to perform the last given order in place of idlecy, unless instructed to go idle after the completion of a task. So you suspect that this golem is just like, it sounds like it's patrolling the estate. The image of it that you see in the book, Atta, shows that it is quite large. And you're curious about how it moves from floor to floor. If, in fact, it moves from floor to floor. But because you haven't seen all of Castle Antolyr, obviously, but you haven't seen like any other kind of broken like rune golems in this area. But they seem to be drawn to they seem to be able to like intelligently intuit that like whether something is a disturbance or not. So fundamentally, if you were to make like loads of crashing, banging, like hoodlum-like noises, it would draw its attention.
Interesting. So perhaps if we were to have taken the alchemist fire, that Frida had come and caused some commotion, I don't know, or something, we can distract people enough. I don't know. What does the gang think?
I'm just thinking from like a logistics point of view. The ominous rumbling has one segment left on its clock, and Dorothea arrives also has one segment left on the clock. So all I'm saying is if both of those clocks are fulfilled right at the same time, then we might have the perfect distraction in order for us to just, whoops. And also there's,
lock Dorothea in there with him.
Alejandro
and his little gang are also there, so they sort of add to the confusion. I mean, we did say earlier we might use them as a meat shield, so
we did. To be fair,
a very sexy
App's in there.
shield, but
okay, what is the plan? Conclusive.
We're gonna lock Dorothea in the castle with a crystal golem, make lots of noise, and then bring Dorothea and the golem to the same place, and we leave and shut the door behind us.
Well, so shall we? So there's only one exit and entrance into the library. No, wait, there's multiple because there's multiple floors.
Multiple floors. So I can tell you that there is a door on the west wall. So that would have been like as you entered, it was the wall on the right. So there was a door on that kind of balcony, but that seemed to be it. And then similar. There's not. You notice when you're up there, there's not a door on the upper floor or like on the lower floor in that direction.
So there were two doors on the middle floor, which is also where like the exit front entrance would be.
Yeah. Algernon, as you've got the eyes from the sky for all intents and purposes, you can see that Dorothea is approaching. Is there a plan that you're formulating on how they can get out?
Algernon is trying to attune into the remaining foresight hangover headache that he's experiencing, and all he can think about is that ominous rumbling, the approaching golem. And as Dorothea walks up the steps to the main entrance of the castle, he gets on the earring and instructs Magpie to think about that golem and if there's a way to form a distraction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are we going to attract the golem then? If that's the plan.
Disturb him. Start shelving books incorrectly.
Yeah, start knocking books off shelves. Start.
Lots of noise. Does Atta have any of those little rat bombs left?
She's probably not got the rats, but likely the just
there...
running all over her like rats.
Well, Algernon, you can see that Dorothea is kind of, because she's heading into the front, through the front doors, basically, like Boulder's Brass just striding in through the front door. You can see from the map that the first room that she'll enter into is like the Great Hall. You can see that there's a stairway that rises up to the second floor. It's one of those similar to Cabal of the Manors, in fact, where it rises, one large staircase in the middle that branches into two, like left and right when it reaches the wall. So there's very easy open access from the upper floor to that Great Hall. Is there a location that you're advising them to bring the golem to?
If the golem's on the floor above you, you could perhaps make a noise to draw them both up onto the first floor.
If we need someone to go up and attract its attention, Magpie's happy to do that as quite a fast, finessey character.
Yeah.
She's pretty sure she can just lure it down.
Okay. In which case, are the other three of you happy to make your way effectively to the front door to intercept Dorothea?
Yeah.
Where's Alejandro and his crew?
You don't know.
Oh, great.
They have disappeared.
Oh, great.
Have we still got all the stuff that we want on us?
Yeah.
We got what we want, and I think we've got more pressing, problems.
Yeah.
Yes. Alejandro and crew seem to have disappeared. You have a plan. Algernon is informing you that time is of the essence. As the three, so Frida, Atta, and Cavern, as you make your way through the rooms towards the front, the grand hall, if you will, of Castle Antolyr, you arrive into this large hall. It stretches from sort of the floor that you're stood on to 2 stories up. Above you, you can see that the stairway that rises up from your right, up to your right, opens up into a large kind of open air balcony type area, very similar to a lot of noble houses that you've seen. What truly grabs your attention is the impressively detailed and sized statue of a Khan that dominates the center of this grand hall. And you can see again the crest of House Antolyr above the stairway, above the staircase. But as you take this all in, the front doors of the castle are thrown open, and Dorothea strides in, flanked by 4 clerics. She takes a step into the castle, and you can her face immediately twists into a sneer and snarl as she regards the visage of a Khan in front of her, before she turns to look to her right to see the 3 of you, Cavern included, having just emerged from one of the doors. Cavern, she says. with a tone of confusion and borderline disgust.
Oh, what a wonderful place to meet you, as always. We must be going. Goodbye.
She looks to you and you'll be going nowhere, she says. And like the clerics begin to form up. Magpie, you make it up upstairs.
So, which way have I taken up the upstairs? Have I cut through that front entrance before everybody else, or am I going back through the veil?
No, presumably you would have caught one of the gone up the stairs in the library to the top floor.
Oh, can you do that? Okay, yeah. And then there are yes. Okay, perfect. Right. So yeah.
So you make your way into like a large room. The floors are like, although the floors are wooden, you know that they're reinforced with stone underneath. But there's this seems like a large kind of rest room, like a meeting room of sorts. You see some old tatty sofas around a coffee table type thing next to a fireplace. You see a piano in one corner. You see a small kind of planning table over in another corner. And as you open the door and step in, all of the furniture is dwarfed by this hulking, carved stone giant that stops. Like the floor shakes as under its footsteps, and it stops as you enter the door and walk in, and then slowly at the waist it rotates to regard you. This golem doesn't appear to have a head of sorts, but more what you would regard its shoulders just kind of meet. They're just an uninterrupted curve, and there is a sizable circular gem, kind of where its breastbone would be, that flickers ever so slightly as it regards you. And then you watch as like its legs fundamentally backwards. It then begins to walk towards you, and as it does, the legs begin to rotate, and you realize that the joints aren't actually joined. They just seem to be kind of stone, like floating stones connected by a magical force as it moves towards you.
Oh my gosh.
And like it the plodding that you've heard it doing all this time, upsettingly, it seems a lot quicker now that it's spotted you. What do you do?
I like to think that the moment I entered the room and clocked it, it turned, we looked at each other for a second, and then I think Magpie just like grabs like a crystal ashtray or something, lobs it at him, and then runs for the door on the left, hoping that is going to take her back into the main entrance hallway.
Sure. You run up to the door and you reach out for the handle and sort of like twist it as you try to use your body to throw through it, and to your horror you bounce and the door is locked.
What? Oh god. Is the other door locked? Can I make a run for that?
You could go have a look, or you could try and pick this in record
time. How long
time.
do I have?
It's going to be on you within, if we're talking D&D terms, it's going to be on you within a round.
Great. Okay.
Speed lock.
Speed
pick.
lock. Okay.
I'm going to list this as a desperate action.
Sure. Thanks.
But luckily, thanks to your fine lockpicks, you start on standard.
Okay. I would is my infallible ability gonna give me anything here?
Gives you plus one effect.
Right, so it would become what? A
desperate greater.
A desperate greater. Okay. And then if I push myself, that will give me 3 dice. Is there anything else I can do?
I'm not going to offer a devil's bargain because I've already been very mean to you all. Unless you want me to. I can think of something.
It would give me an extra.
Okay.
That's all.
Regardless of what happens, your tools break.
I can deal with that. We've got downtime. I'll deal with it.
Okay. So you're taking the devil's bargain?
Devil's bargain for another dice. So
That takes you up to 4 dice. Desperate
dice.
Greater.
Desperate Greater. Okay. Everyone, pray to whoever's listening. Okay, let's go. Triple crit! Triple crit!
The column becomes our friend.
Okay.
Praise me!
It's Mr. Dribble! It's new Mr. Dribbles!
The divine and the arcane are smiling on me.
Magpie. In this moment, like, the moment you bounce off the door and you realise that it's locked, your world slows down and you can hear your heart as you sort of like correct yourself, turn to look to see how much time you've got, look back, and before you've even, like, subconsciously, you've already brought out your lockpicks, and as you desperately try to pick this lock as this golem bears down on you, and like with every step it just seems more and more ponderous and intimidating, and like you catch yourself for a moment looking over your shoulder to check where it is, and you're still kind of picking the lock with the same accuracy you've always known, and you feel as you're pushing up one of the tumblers, like your tool begin to bend and twist, and off the back of a crit, I'm gonna say you catch it and stop yourself. Skyrim wise, you change the angle ever so slightly and the tools do not break.
No way!
And you feel the click, and you've already got your hand on the handle, and you turn it, and the three of you downstairs, you watch Magpie, that you hear a tumble through a door upstairs. Magpie, you land on a kind of an upstairs balcony of the Grand Hall. You can see a staircase down immediately on your right, and like this golem is sort of like walking along, and as it approaches the door and you think this is a normal sized person door, what's going to happen? You watch as the floating rocks that form its shape begin to like contract in to allow it to fit through a 6-foot door. And as you realise, oh no, it's still coming. What are you doing?
I'm booking it. I'm picking myself up and just running down the stairs.
Sure. Okay. So the three of you notice, like Magpie just scream down the stairs. Like, immediately in front of you, you see the backside of this statue of a Khan, and you can hear someone's on the other side, and you assume, based off what Algernon was saying, that it is Dorothea and like her clerics. And I'm just gonna, I guess I'll take over a little bit and say that as you peel right around the statue, the three of you notice that the clerics and Dorothea turn to see Magpie like rip right past them, like fundamentally going behind them, and the clerics disperse to try and kind of cut off Magpie, kind of catch up with her, but we're still riding on that success. You just tear straight out. The three of you are like the Children of Iya are distracted, and like Dorothea is looking over her shoulder to wondering who that Asavar was that just bolted. I think I recognise her. And she turns back to you, Kavrin, and she takes a few steps forward, and a shadow looms over her and the three of you as this compacted golem like leaps off the balcony and lands in the Great Hall, almost knocking the statue of a Khan over. And it looks like just a monolith. But then you watch as it begins to stretch upwards and its arms begin to fold out, and you see these comprised of sort of like 7 bits of floating stone in a rough humanoid shape. And as it grows and grows to its full size, it glances across the 8 of you, the clerics included, and in a low, deep voice, you hear it bellow, "Intruders detected." And as Dorothea looks up to it and, "Iya, save us," she says. One of the clerics like draws a mace and like runs at the golem and bonk, like swings a mace, and it just bounces off its hide. And the golem looks down, and then bringing up one of its like boulder-like arms, it knocks the cleric across the room. Distracted, would you like to, while the clerics are distracted, would you like to leave?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
running,
yes,
running.
yes.
Can I lock the door behind us?
If you would like to lock the door behind you, you absolutely can.
What, Cameron? What do you think?
Yeah, go.
Okay, I want to try. That might be me getting a bit cocky though.
Do it.
I'll help you.
Yeah.
I think gives you an extra dice.
Okay, cool.
2 stress for a help, right?
1 stress for a help, isn't it?
1 stress for a help.
Yeah. Can I have a bit of help?
Of course.
What type of roll is this?
Everyone holding the door closed because the clerics are trying to get out.
What type of roll is this?
We'll start as a risky standard, yeah.
Okay.
Desperate standard, beg your pardon. Desperate standard.
Desperate, love it. Okay.
Because there's a golem on the loose.
Yeah, okay, so desperate standard +1. I think I'm just going to go for it as is.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my luck runs out. Let's go.
No, good.
It's another success!
You all hear the as magpies, you lock the door from the outside. It's very rare in your profession that you have to lock a door with lockpicks, but you manage it. And you hear sort of like the screaming and panicked bangings on the other side of the door from the cleric trying to get through. Let us out! Let us out! And I will go ahead and roll. So the golem has rolled a 6.
No!
And
The clerics are now jam.
the Children of Iya, let's roll 3.
Oh boy.
It's going to be some new ghosts.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I can catch them.
You hear. You can only begin. Like, the fact you can't see what's happening to those clerics inside Castle Antolyr arguably makes it worse. And as you all hightail it out of the front gates of Castle Antolyr, like over the Children of Iya erected barricades and whatnot, you notice that their outpost that was kind of in front of the castle is now empty. Presumably, those who were stationed there are now in the castle, trying to evade the reach of a enraged golem. And without any particular pursuance, you're able to make it away from the castle, and I'm assuming back to the relative safety of Cadwallader Manor.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
In which case, as you tear down the street of the Ivory, where within the space of about 15 to 20 minutes, you have stepped through the Vale into the Deadlands. You have roamed through the halls of Castle Antolyr. You have found a secret great vault. You have tangled with the Rune Golem and the Children of Iya. As you make it back to your base, I reckon we call it there.
Oh boy!
See? Not all my ideas are rubbish.
That was incredible.
Oh my gosh, that was honestly those.
Look at all that lovely
crits,
stress.
That
Look at all that lovely stress. No
Oh,
trauma.
it's awful,
No trauma.
isn't it? No trauma.
Just a lovely, healthy amount of stress.
Oh,
That's good resource management right
I
now.
can't believe that. 3 criticals. We were getting such terror. I feel like for the past maybe
We saved
2 or
them all
3
up.
sessions,
Yeah,
you've
we've
had
been
really
saving them up.
terrible rolls, and then you just knock it out of the park. Just it's
That's
amazing.
very, very lucky.
Whew.
That was what a feeling. 3 successes.
Don't you dare.
He's come to burst off.
Doing it.
Oh,
Elsewhere in Elysia,
Yeah.
the resonant sound of hammer falls ring out through a filthy room in the sewers of Elysia. Crazed whisperings intersperse with the sounds of the crackling of magic, punctuated by flashes of blue glow, illuminating the occupants of the room in ghoulish lighting. Pulling her visor up, Umi takes a step back, her eyes wide with joy, her hands quivering, as she looks up at the greatest creation she's ever forged. I think we've done it. I think we've done it, she says, and she reaches up and grabs the sleeve of the Lorovar man stood beside her. We've done it. We have unlocked the evolution. We can now ascend to a higher state. But who will it be? Who will it be? And the Lorovar man shakes her hand off his wrist. And with a face covered in religious scripture, Caleb looks at the creation in front of him. Only the most pious and faithful can take this step. It shall be me, he says, as he looks at his reflection in the faceplate in front of him.
Oh, so who remind me again about how lovely Umi was? I think you were talking about it.
Umi is lovely. She's just misguided.
She'll come around. She'll come around.
Yeah.
Congratulations, everyone. On completing a very bumper episode 11.
Blimey.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you did it.
You did it.
Skin of our teeth.
Yes,
It was fine.
Absolutely
it was
fine. See? Absolutely fine. So, not to we'll just jump straight into it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for playing. Hit the like button if you liked it, and comment down below on give me a percentage of the likelihood of survival, the percentage chance of survival for those iron clerics. It might be a low, it might be a low strength golem. Who knows? If you want to see more of this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new content, because that happens very, very frequently. We won't want you to miss out. So, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you for the next one.
Bye.
See you then.
Bye.